when we take your socials up, you know we're built to win. Busy closing deals, running business all day. We handle your socials so you can focus your way. Algorithm shifting, platforms on the move. We track the updates, keep you in the groove. Marketing, tech, and the tools of the trade. Social Surge is live and we're here to get paid. Social media for the Creek crowd. We turn up the signal, we make your brand loud. You run your business, we handle the feed. Social Surge delivers everything you need. It's the surge, yeah, the Social Surge. Live and loud, we bring the urge. Marketing, tech, the latest trends. Whether content strategy never ends. Social Surge, we ride the wave. Every broker, every brand, every play. Tune in loud, the show is live. Social Surge, watch your presence thrive. Yeah. Yeah, content strategy, AI on the rise. We break it
Good
down so
morning,
you can
everyone.
recognize. Scroll, stop, and post some visuals
Good
that
morning.
light up your brand like I need on light. Don't
Happy
sweat the
Thursday.
trends, don't stress the
Welcome
stats.
back to the
Social
Surge.
Surge,
I
we
am
just got
Mo
your back on
Regalado coming
track.
to you
Commercial real
live
estate
from
never looked so
Spokane,
fly. We bring
Washington.
the knowledge to
Just
your
waiting for
digital
Mr.
sky.
Regalado to
Moving
join
fast, the
me.
game won't wait. Every post,
Seems
every
that we're in the
story,
wrong
every
studios
update,
right
we
now,
cut
which is
through the
fine.
noise
There
so
we
your brain
go.
stays
He's
clean.
there. What's happening? There he is. Your mic is off. Good morning, James Milner. Good morning. Good morning. So we are back from Seattle. Good morning, DB. Good to see you and have you here. We were at the Puget Sound Multifamily Summit, and that was in downtown Seattle, right there. We were at Embassy Suites. Great location, honestly, fabulous location, except for right next to the stadium where they're having FIFA. So we have a little bit of a story to talk about before we do that. But joining me, of course, is my ride or die. What the heck? He's in studio with me. Oh, now he's not. He's gone. He disappeared. He don't like me no more. That's what. What are you doing? Yeah, your sound is still off. It's because you need to just change your mic to the Osbot. You're trying. Okay. Okay. This is a good morning. Okay. So right there. Oh, there you are.
Wow, it worked.
So we were there downtown, and couldn't.
Good times.
Yeah, so first of all, they really cleaned up downtown Seattle for FIFA, like big time, because
Wow, and they really want to.
yes, no, normally there's a lot of homeless that are in Seattle. They're pretty much everywhere, like everywhere. And so it was they definitely cleaned it up. There was lots and lots of people there, and super funny. Not super funny. It actually sucked really bad. So we I want to know how you've been saying Puget Sound. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah, Puget.
Puget Sound?
Puget.
Puget Sound. Anyway, so we end up we have this giant F-350 that has a ridiculous lift kit on it. It's giant.
It's not.
It has
giant.
a ridiculous lift kit on it. I mean, I literally have to vault to get into it. And
because you're short doesn't mean that it's giant. It just means,
dude, you have to vault to get into it too. Don't even play. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
No.
Yeah. So, like, if your knee is lifting up higher than your waistline to be able to get into a vehicle, I think that's an issue. Anyway, so it's taller than we can get into their parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
We get there, we find parking outside. Fabulous. We find parking outside, and at the time we get there, it's free because from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. right in front of the hotel, it's free parking. Great. This is awesome. Good morning, Holly Pennington. Thanks for joining us over on the Gram, talking about Puget Sound Multifamily Summit that they had in Seattle. So all day Tuesday, every 2 hours, we go out, we feed the meter, we come back. We go out, we feed the meter, we come back. Meet up with our girls, because our girls live in Kirkland and in Kenmore, and they're 26 and 24. And we go out to dinner. We have a great time. We go to the bar at the hotel. We get a couple drinks. We're standing outside. It's probably 11:30 midnight. There are no signs, there was nothing on the street in front of the hotel. Not a thing. There's no signs, no nothing. That they are going to tow our vehicles if they are outside on the street. So I get up, I do social surge, or I do a cup of Joe with Corey and Mo, like I do every they do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm up at my normal time, about 3:30. I'm working, blah, 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 blah. Hector goes downstairs to go feed the beaner, comes back upstairs, and he's like, the truck was towed. What? Yeah. So sometime, we couldn't get a clear answer. It was sometime between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. All the vehicles that were parked out front of the hotel were towed. Gone. Goodbye. See ya. Sayonara. So, of course, that just kind of just bowls us over. The hotel has now been run over by Bosnia-Herzegovina fans, because it was Bosnia-Herzegovina and Qatar that were playing yesterday in Seattle for FIFA, which is fabulous, except for the fact that waiting for an elevator to go up and down, right? You're waiting for forever. It's
like 5-minute waits.
Yeah. It was like, geez, Louise, we're waiting for forever. So then they've blocked off the street so people can come in and go out. That's obviously why they towed our vehicle. So we have to cross with our stuff, all of our gear. Now, mind you, we were there because we had a client there that was on a panel. So we were recording him and taking photos and doing all this stuff while we were working the event. So we've got all of our gear. We've got, obviously it was just a 2-day trip. So we each have just a small duffel bag. It's not like we have a lot of stuff with us, but it's just like lugging everything all the way across. So we get across, and then we get an Uber. We have to Uber into almost like Kirkland, maybe? I don't know where it was. We get there. The guy in front of us was also from Embassy Suites. He'd also had his rental car towed. He was there for the Qatar. Yeah.
And the person in front of him was also from Embassy Suites. So there was 2 people in front of us, and then the person behind us. We're all there because we got our cars towed.
Yeah. And so the women who were behind us, I felt really bad for them because they had just flown in from New York, and they had arrived about Tuesday mid-afternoon, and they did all the sightseeing stuff. So they went to the Space Needle at night. They did all this fun stuff. And then they pull in and they're like, oh, great, there's parking in front of the hotel. So they park in front of the hotel. They go downstairs to go pay, and they see that their car is gone. Now, mind you, they were only in Seattle proper for less than 24 hours because they were going to be going to Olympia National Park. And they still had to go back to the hotel. I was like, how are you guys going to get back there with your rental to get all of your luggage if you can't even park anywhere near the hotel? And they kind of looked at me and they were like, we didn't think about that. I was like, that's why we brought all of our stuff with us. And they just kind of like looked at me like, damn, okay. We didn't really think this one through. We were just trying to get our rental car. Anyway, so needless to say, we had an adventure yesterday. It cost us close to damn near $400 to get our vehicle out of impound. And the hotel didn't really apologize for the fact that our stuff was towed.
They were confused too. They were like, your car is towed? Like everybody's car is towed. Did you not notice that there was a lot of missing cars out front? Well,
and here's the thing too, is that their parking garage, I was like, how are people going to get out of your parking garage? Because The roads are all blocked, right?
Yeah.
So, and then there's a parking garage that's literally right across from the hotel. Again, how are people going to get out? And somebody was saying, I heard somebody say, well, they're going to unblock the streets at 6 p.m. Okay. So if we had parked in the one across the street, we would have been stuck there until 6, 7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Which would have sucked because it is a 5-hour drive, 5.5-hour drive from Seattle to Spokane. So anyway, those were our adventures. Thank you for joining us. Now it's time to talk. I mean, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? It's just one of those things that you guys got to suck it up and deal with it and be like, okay, this really, really freaking sucks, but here we are. I mean, there's nothing you can do. And as it was, we ended up the reason we took the truck is that we were picking up our daughter's car. So Hector and our son can work on it and hopefully get it back into working condition for her so that she has transportation. Anyway, so it was just kind of one of those things where it's just like, what the hell? What's going on? But I mean, it's an adventure. We always have fun together. We always enjoy one another's company. So here's what we heard about at the Bisnow event about the multifamily market. I guess one of the biggest things. So the guy who was on the panel, his name is Mike Cassell. He works with Soundview Capital. I have a fun story from Soundview Capital about being found on AI or through AI, Google AI. And getting quite a bit of business, but I'll share that story later. So we're there to meet with Mike. First time that we get to meet in person. That's one of the cool things going to events like this. And he was basically on like a lenders panel. I want to say that as best. I think it is best. And I guess one of the interesting things that I found about their conversation is the fact that the policies, and we try not, obviously we never try to get too political, but the policies that Seattle has or is creating is a challenge not just to developers. It is a challenge to everybody who's involved in commercial real estate, from building to lending. And it's not that the market is broken. It's can we make this deal work is the biggest issue.
Yeah, that was the biggest question of that panel was, whether or not deals can be made. And yes, deals can be made. Obviously, that was, the whole point of it. But like you said, there are a lot of hurdles, and that was the point of the discussion: is what hurdles, what solutions, what kind of deals are still being made or are being looked at? Because in some cases, some of those deals are being paused.
Yep.
They're right mid construction, or they just broke ground, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, hold on, let's take a breather here, because this isn't going the way we want it to, right? So yes, really.
Yeah, and one of the things too is talking about, again, this has to do with policies. If you're not familiar with some of the Seattle policies, particularly with the millionaire's tax, it's not necessarily a millionaire's tax. It is affecting people who are making, I forget what the number is. I want to say it's like 225,000 and above.
Yeah, for single.
But and I could be those numbers, I could be off on those numbers, but the challenge of the fact of the matter is that you have large corporations that are leaving the Seattle area because of that. Now they are going in, but it's benefiting places like Bellevue. It's benefiting other communities within Washington State because they are more favorable. And I say that hesitantly because
at the moment, Well, at the moment, those other communities, and those communities, don't get me wrong, the communities are basically one bridge over, so it's not like
Yep.
they're really going that far. Um, but those communities are still more pro business than Seattle proper. Seattle proper is the one that's causing a lot of their own turmoil, right? Their own issues, and the surrounding communities, Tacoma, Bellevue, all those other communities that are just like I said, it's just a bridge across. They're benefiting from Seattle's oops moment, right?
Mm. Yeah, they are benefiting, but then you look at the fact that, okay, like if we're not even talking about development, we're talking about leasing. You know, back to office. I haven't looked into it, but it would be interesting to see what the office leasing rates are for Seattle. And to see how, I mean, we could probably look it up. You could probably look it up right now. But you know, it's really hard to incentivize people to come back to office if the actual community itself doesn't want them there. So one of the things that we heard, particularly when it comes to lending, is that capital wants certainty, and that was the word that they were using often. And you know, obviously everybody wants certainty. Lenders want to know, you know, who are you? Have you done this before? Do you have liquidity? What's your exit strategy? Does your business plan actually make sense? And as one of the panelists said, if the story doesn't make sense, the deal gets pushed aside. So there is capital that's willing to provide. It just, you have to have a story. You have to have everything in place to make it work. And if you don't, then you're not going to get, you know, you're not going to get what you need. So as we were saying, the secondary markets are having their moments. So Eastern Washington, we're in Eastern Washington right now. The big thing that's happening here, and that is a topic of hot debate and conversation, is that they're going to be putting, allegedly, a data center on the West Plains. Allegedly. I mean, because it could happen or it couldn't happen, but we already have Avista, who is our electric company, telling us that we should expect rolling blackouts, that there's other issues that are coming, and that it's, what did they say? It's going to take half of our electricity or something like that?
Yeah, they're looking at about nearly half, or right at half of capacity for the current usage, right? This new data center is going to take half of it. So where's that electricity going to come from is my big question, right? Because it is going to affect us. You were asking about the open rates for office space in Seattle. It's sitting there right now at around 36.5%, historically high. 36.5
is open.
Yeah.
So 70 some odd percent is leased currently.
Yeah. 36.5%.
Okay. All right. So the other markets that are benefiting from the challenges that Western Washington is having is Western Montana and Idaho. So obviously, those communities are benefiting from some of these policies that just, as a business owner, it doesn't make sense. I know as business owners living here in Washington State, we're questioning whether we're going to stay in Washington State. And it's because of the fact that it's like, you know, we have a good business, and yet you're taxing the crap out of me. And it's a significant amount. Like every month when I pay my tax bill, I'm like, ugh, right? Like every time I see it come out, I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, right.
The amount I pay in taxes could go to hire a full-time employee. You know, it's just like, damn. And it, you know, I don't see the benefit of it. I don't see it staying here in Spokane, right? It doesn't stay here.
The majority of our taxes goes back to Seattle, back to Olympia. It doesn't really stay in Eastern Washington. And as you were saying, so Eastern Washington's benefiting. Western Montana, Idaho. Right now, Boise they were talking specifically about Boise. Boise is like booming right now with development. It's a really hot market for commercial real estate at the moment. They're bringing in a lot of business, they're very business friendly in Boise. So that was a really good part of the discussion that I thought was pretty interesting.
And they brought up reasons too, because a lot of times it's faster permitting, there's lower regulations, there's more available labor. They get,
Yes.
Obviously the construction is still going to be a challenge. There's still going to be constraints when it comes to available resources, I guess, when we're talking about lumber, steel, whatever. But you also have a lot of subcontractors that want work. And so they're just, they want to work. And so you have an available pool of people that can construct quickly and in good timelines. So those areas, like we were talking about, Eastern Washington, Western Montana, and Idaho, are seeing a boom because of the flight from
Seattle.
Yeah, the flight from Seattle. And so I guess the last thing that we should definitely discuss is the insurance costs, which I found interesting, because when we talk a lot about commercial real estate and particularly, well, and I guess I see this more on X, and when we talk to our friends in South Florida and potentially Texas, I'm sure Holly Pennington can inform us what's going on in Texas with insurance, but generally insurance is expensive, like super expensive. They're having a hard time getting stuff insured, underwritten, all that. But one of the panelists said that rates are the lowest they've seen since 2018, 2019. And that's actually helping transactions move forward in multifamily in the Puget Sound area. And, I think that is probably a good signal. I mean, I'm obviously not a market expert, just listening to what the panel was talking about, but that seems to me that's a good sign that more stuff will be able to start going through.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the panelist, the gentleman that was basically representing an insurance company there, right, and talking about the insurance aspect of this whole thing, he wasn't no doom and gloom by no means. He was very optimistic about it. Again, he actually talked about like Phoenix and Dallas and other locations as well. But to be specific about Seattle, he wasn't doom and gloom. He said, "Yeah, you know what? Just it has to make sense." Just like the underwriters for capital, they all said the same thing. If it doesn't make sense at the moment, right? If the funding doesn't show that it's gonna move the needle in the right direction, then no, you're not gonna get insured. No, you're not gonna get underwritten. No, you're not gonna get the loans. And again, it really does come down to, and they, as much as yes, we don't like to talk politics about, these kinds of things, but it comes down to the political atmosphere in Seattle versus everybody else that's around them and outside of, right? So back to Eastern Washington, Idaho, Montana, and all that, but right across the bridge, right in their own backyard, they're benefiting massively because of those political decisions that are being made in Seattle. Right. And as much as they tiptoed around it and they kind of like, well, not really. Well, I don't want to talk. Yeah, it came down to it's political. That's it.
Holly says that insurance rates are crazy high in Texas. So there you have it over there. They're still, I mean, it just depends on the area that you're in. Last but not least, where is the money coming from? And again, the money is still there. It hasn't disappeared. It's shifted. So some of them talked that the money's coming from agency lending, regional banks, Canadian pension funds. I thought that was, I was like, what?
Well, that was Mike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mike and Mike. Well, remember that they got a really good connection in Canada, and
Mhm.
that connection comes. They're getting their money right out of the Canadian pension funds. I think that surprised everybody in the room because you don't really talk about where when you're talking about capital investments. I mean, here in the U.S., they do the same thing. A lot of pension plans, a lot of 401ks are heavily into investing into commercial.
Yeah, that's they actually so Soundview actually has quite a few deals currently in the works with the different Canadian entities that were having issues getting funding and lending in Canada, and so they started looking at sources in the United States. And that's what they're working with along with all the other stuff that they have going on. But capital is going to find a way, right? Just like water always finds a way. Capital is going to find a way. And even though the headlines tell us interest rates are too high, are still too high, developers are saying that, deals are still getting done. They're just being done differently. And who knows when it's going to get back to normal, right? Maybe this is the new normal, and we just have to look at it in a way of how do we get these deals across the line.
Right.
So some of the takeaways for us was definitely that certainty closes deals. There's conservative underwriting wins in uncertain markets. Secondary markets are definitely seeing growth and increase because of what's happening in situations such as in Seattle. And your relationships with your regional lenders definitely matter. If you guys want further information on this, obviously Bisnow has a ton of information about what happened at the Puget Sound Multifamily Summit. And I thought it was great. It's nice to have. It's nice to sit in rooms where people are actively talking about deals that are happening and getting further understanding. And of course, Bisnow does not support this show.
No.
But hey, if you want to sponsor us, I'm open.
Right.
But but I mean, they do have regional events everywhere. So if you can, definitely join and see what you can do there. And if you're in our area, we would love to come and meet with you. So anyway, that's what we got. Oh, I have a workshop.
You
I have a workshop
do?
coming up today.
What? Amazing.
I have a workshop, LinkedIn articles, SEO and AEO'd to help you get you found on agentic search. Did we send out another email already, or is it going out later?
It will be going out here shortly for the final call. If you're not on our list and want to attend, just go ahead and contact Mo or me, and we'll send you the registration link so you can get in on that.
Yeah, that's happening at 11 a.m. So it'll be from 11 to noon. It is a 60-minute workshop. Attendees will get 2 free little items that will help them create a 90-day game plan for LinkedIn articles, as well as a little cheat sheet on how to create some content for those articles. So if you're interested, DM Hector or myself. Other than that, after our busy day yesterday of getting our vehicle out of impound, trying to get out of Seattle, picking up a vehicle and driving 5 to 5.5 hours home, I am tired still.
Every time we go over there, it seems like we have a bit of a challenge getting out of there. It's like we're getting sucked in and not being let out.
It's always something. It's always something. Anyway, everybody, we'll see you back here on Tuesday. Have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. We'll see you then.